Hey everyone, Cathy here. So glad you're here to practice with me tonight or today if you're practicing during the daytime. This is going to be a cooling, calming practice, and we're going to start on our backs today. So get really comfortable. We are going to bend the knees so that the feet are planted on the floor, knees are bent toward the ceiling. And when we first get here, we just really want to allow the body to sink into the mat. So we're going to feel that conscious release within the muscles. Go ahead and close your eyes. You can really feel into the sensations here. Just allow the arms to rest at a comfortable distance from the body, and then allow the shoulders to relax down into the mat. We're not pressing them down, we're just letting them open and sink back. And then we want to take our attention to the shoulder blades. Just feel that gentle pressure of the shoulder blades into your mat. Moving up toward that point in the back of the head where the weight of your head is concentrated. And let's move down the spine, noticing where the back is touching the mat, all the way down to the sacrum and the back of the pelvis, that point in the back of the pelvis where you can just feel the most pressure on the mat. And then go ahead and notice where the feet are planted, those footprints that are firmly fastened to your mat. You might also notice where the knuckles are resting, where the elbows are resting. We're just allowing the whole body to sink a little more with every exhale. Really centering ourselves in this moment, in this space. And you might even go ahead and take notice of your breathing pattern. You want to allow that breathing pattern to be smooth and steady. You may even want to count the inhales and the exhales so that they can be equal in length. So maybe counting to 6 on the inhale, a slow, steady, smooth inhale. And then the same count of 6 as that exhale just naturally, slowly follows. By controlling the breath gently in this way, we help to cue our nervous system that we're safe, we're settled, all is well, so that we can do a little reset with the nervous system and just allow the mind, body, and spirit to know that we're safe, we're sound, and we can relax. You might also feel how the belly sinks toward the spine as you exhale, as gravity pulls it a little deeper when we're lying down than when we're sitting up. Really focusing the attention right on the breath. A couple more full cycles here. And then we're going to take another full inhale. If you'd like to join me, I'm going to chant Om on the exhale. A chant of Om not only is an opening for our practice, but it is a gentle vagus nerve stimulation. That vagus nerve and the that is on either side of the throat, starting there at least, and traveling all the way through the major organ systems. Whenever we can do something to stimulate that vagus nerve, it helps to soothe and calm the entire system, nervous system, major organ systems, helps to settle all those systems if they've been aggravated or agitated during the day. And that chant of Om is also a really nice reminder to us of that divine light, that divine energy that resides in each of us, connecting us all to one another and to every other living being. Let's take one more full breath cycle here. And then before we come out of this position of rest, take a moment if you'd like to set an intention for your practice. Even if that's just to do your best, be fully present, paying close attention to your movement and how you feel, how your body feels, how your mind feels, how the breath feels during this practice. And then we'll gently open the eyes. And we're first going to bring the knees in toward our chest. So then just grab on gently with the hands on the shins right below the knees and just take a little gentle rock from side to side. So this should feel like a nice massage on the low back and the upper hips. If there's any tightness there, this can provide a little massage, a little bit of loosening if there are tight muscles there. And then from there, we're going to come to stillness with the legs for a moment. Go ahead and place the palms right on the kneecaps. And on an inhale, press the knees away from the body. And just keep the feet up off the floor. We're just pressing and away enough so that we can straighten our elbows. And then as we exhale, we're just going to bring the knees back in, bending the elbows once again. Inhale, press the knees away, straighten the elbows. And exhale, bring the knees back in, bend the elbows. Let's do that a couple more times. As we breathe, we move. We inhale as we expand and we exhale as we contract. Last one. And then from here, we're going to keep this right knee in toward the chest, and then we're going to extend that left leg out on our mat. And just hold that knee in position for just a moment, and then gently rock it from right to left. So we're opening up that hip joint just a bit. And then from there, bring the knee to stillness. And we're going to flex the foot and then press the sole of the right foot up toward the ceiling. And then exhale as we bring the knee back in toward our chest. So we're going to continue that movement. Inhale as we extend the leg, pressing out through the heel, flexing the toes, and then exhale as we bring that knee back toward the chest. Continue that movement, inhaling as we extend and expand, exhaling as we contract that knee back in. And after this next extension of the foot up toward the ceiling, we're going to just hold the leg in that extended position. Go ahead and point and flex the foot here. Just a gentle point and flex. And then we're going to make some circles with our ankle. And then we're going to reverse the direction of that circle. And then we'll keep the foot still. Go ahead and bring that knee back in once more. Take that gentle little rock again from side to side with the leg. So you feel that compression and opening in the hip socket. And then from here, we're going to keep the knee bent and just bring the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. And so we're coming into a happy baby position. We're going to open the knee out just a bit toward the right. So it may just be just outside the shoulder, depending upon your flexibility. And you can hold on to the shin. You can put the hands on the back of the thigh. Maybe if today the leg feels really open, you might even reach up and either grab the outer edge of the foot or maybe wrap the first two fingers of the hand around the big toe. And you can bring the elbow of your arm either inside the knee or outside the knee, whatever feels most comfortable. For me, it's just inside the knee. And we just want to hold the leg in that position, however it feels most comfortable. So we get a nice compression here in that hip socket and a little bit in the lower abdomen on the right side too. Should feel a pretty good stretch in the back of the thigh also. A gentle one, but a good one. And then wherever you're hanging on to that foot or that ankle or that shin, go ahead and release that foot. And then we're going to extend that right leg down on the mat. And then we'll bring the left knee in toward the chest. And we're going to do the same movements on the left-hand side. So first, we're going to just hug that left knee in for a moment, holding in position. And then we'll take that little gentle rock so we get that opening in the hip joint, that little bit of opening and closing in the hip. And you may notice it feels really different on one side of the body than the other. We tend to have a little bit more mobility in one side of the body than the other. A little more tightness is usually held on one side. So just notice. So let's bring that knee to stillness. And we'll go ahead and extend the flexed foot up toward the ceiling. And then bring that knee back in as we exhale. Extending toward the ceiling on the inhale. Contracting back toward the body on the exhale. Just keep that movement going with your breath, slow and steady. This last time that the foot is extended up toward the ceiling, let's go ahead and point and flex the foot. And then we'll make those same circles with our ankle. And then change the direction, going the opposite way with the circles. Just noticing how this feels in the foot, the ankle, the shin, the calf muscle. Let's bring that foot to stillness. Go ahead and bend the knee back in. Take that little gentle rock from side to side again. And then this time we'll leave that knee bent toward the chest, flex the foot, and just bring the sole of the foot toward the ceiling, coming back to that happy baby. Now you may notice one side you can hold on in a different position. Again, a little more mobile on one side of the body versus the other is pretty typical. And then again, decide where it feels most comfortable to place your arm in relation to your leg. You're going to probably want to open the knee out to the left just a bit. Noticing how this feels in the hip and the thigh. And anytime there's a lot of discomfort, that means you need to come out of the position. You might just bring the knee back toward the chest if it's uncomfortable. A slight little bit of discomfort is usually the body's way of just saying, hey, like pay close attention here. But if you reach the point that it's painful, you always need to come out of that position. That's your body's way of saying, this just isn't right for me today. So let's release that half happy baby. Bring that knee back to the chest one more time for a little hug. And then we're going to bring the sole of that left foot down to our mat, knee bent. Bring that right sole back to the mat also. And then we're going to take some very low bridge lifts here. So feet are placed so that the knees are right above the ankles. And we're going to gently press into the heels and just lift up slightly. We're not going to come into a full bridge, just a little lift of the bum off your mat, and then we're going to slowly come back down. Let's do that once more. Lift as we press into the heels. And then exhale as we lower the hips back down. One more time. Lift as we press. And then lower back down. Now let's extend that left leg once more. We're going to bring the right knee toward the chest. And this time we're going to come into a twist, but we want to take it slow first. So we just want to bring the right knee over toward the left side and then bring it back to the center. And then over toward the left, not coming all the way into a twist just yet, and then back to center. Let's do one more half twist here. We're just working our way over into that full twist. Back to center. And this time, to come into the full twist, bring the arch of that right foot to touch the inside of your left knee. And then we're going to rock over toward the left. You're going to roll onto that outside edge of the left hip. And we just want to allow the legs to rest in this position. So we don't want to use the hands to press on the legs, but if you'd like to rest the left hand on the right thigh, you can do that. It might feel good to raise the right arm up overhead, bringing that stretch from the side body down in the hip all the way up through the torso and even up into the shoulder. And we just want to have a relaxed breathing pattern here. So anytime that the breath becomes shortened, labored, or you feel the need to hold the breath, or you notice that you might be holding the breath, you just want to bring that steady breathing pattern back on board. If it helps to count the inhale and exhale, you can always do that. Sometimes just having that consciousness about the inhale and the exhale by counting can be helpful. Let's lower that right arm if it's extended up overhead. And then we're going to roll onto our back again, bringing that right knee toward the chest for another little hug in before we extend the right leg out. And do the same thing with the left knee, bringing it in toward the chest first. And then just taking that half twist, bringing the left knee over toward the right. Not all the way into the twist just yet, just over toward that right-hand side. Back to center. And then again, over toward the right with the left knee. Feeling that bit of stretch in the outside of the left hip. Back to center. One more half twist here. Just warming up, getting ready for the full twist. This time we're going to bring the arch of that left foot to touch the inside of the right knee. And then we'll roll over toward the right-hand side of the room, rolling onto the outside of that right hip. And again, if you want to reach that left arm overhead, you can. Sometimes it might feel better to have it out toward the left-hand side. You can decide what feels best for your shoulder. Continuing that steady, smooth breathing pattern here in this position. And again, we want the hand to just rest on the thigh. We don't want to be pressing on the thigh. Everything about this practice is gentle and restorative. No pushing, no forcing. One more full breath cycle here. And then to come out of this position, we'll bring that left arm back toward the body first, roll onto the back, and bring the left knee in toward the chest again for another little squeeze. Then go ahead and drop both soles of the feet again. Knees are bent toward the ceiling. And we're going to roll over to our right-hand side and then press ourselves up to a seated position with our hands. And then we're going to come into a tabletop position on hands and knees. So just when you get there, make sure that your wrists are right below your shoulders and your knees are right below your hips. And we want to think of lengthening out through the spine. So think of lengthening out through the crown of your head, out through the tailbone. So the spine is nice and long. And we want to draw our navel up just a tiny bit toward our spine so we can really feel some engagement there. Gripping into your fingertips. Feet are right behind the knees. And we're going to start our cat-cow movement by lifting the tailbone first, Then let the belly drop. Then the chest moves forward and the gaze moves forward. Feeling that nice stretch in the front of the body. Now to come into our cat pose, we're going to again begin with the tailbone, tipping it down to point toward the mat. The spine rises toward the ceiling, and then the crown just naturally falls to point toward the mat. So inhale as we come back to that cow, always leading with the tailbone, to roll through the whole spine, and then back to our cat. Slow and steady movement, slow and steady breath. Continuing. As soon as the new breath begins, the movement changes. Always keeping that inhale as we come into cow. And transitioning to cat as we begin the exhale. Let's do 2 more of those, 2 full cycles. And last one. And we're going to give our wrists a little bit of a break. Bring the big toes to touch one another as you come out of that final cat. And then we're going to open the knees a little bit wider toward the edges of our mat. And we're going to sink our hips back toward our heels and let our forehead just rest on the mat. So we're coming into a wide-kneed child's pose here. And take a moment to scan through the body so that you can allow as much release of any efforts within the muscles as possible. This is a position or a pose of complete release, complete surrender. You can close the eyes here also. And you may even want to take notice of those individual points in the body where you're making contact with your mat. Maybe there are points where the contact has more pressure on the mat, and others where the body is just resting very lightly. With every exhale, allow yourself to just sink a little deeper, let go a little more. One more full breath cycle here. And after that exhale on an inhale, we're going to come back up to our tabletop. So bring those knees back beneath the hips again. And from here, we're going to curl our toes and lift our hips up to a down dog. So lifting slowly. And if it feels good to pedal the feet when you get there by bending one knee and pressing the opposite heel back and down, go ahead and do that. We want to grip into the fingertips again. And try to be in an inverted V position so that the hips are reaching up toward the ceiling, the heels are reaching back and down. The head is reaching toward that space between your hands, and the back is flat. Settle in there for just a moment. And then on an inhale, we're going to come back to that table and then all the way back down to a child on the exhale. We're going to move through those 3 poses. So as we inhale, we'll come back to table and then curl the toes, exhale up to down dog. Inhale back to our table once again. And exhale back to child. Let's do that twice more. Inhale to table. Exhale to our child. Exhale to our down dog. Inhale to table. And exhale down to child. One more of those. Hold in this child's pose for a moment. On your next inhale, lift the head just slightly. Walk the hands over off the right-hand side of your mat so that you can feel a big stretch in the left side of the body. Lowering the head to the mat if that feels good, or letting the head hover above the mat if that feels better. Feeling that sensation in the left side of the body, all the way from the pinky finger down to the hip. Let's now move the hands across your mat, coming all the way over to the other side. Hands just outside that left side of your mat. And notice how it feels on this side of the body. Might be slightly different. Continuing that steady, smooth breathing pattern. And then coming back to center and back up to our tabletop position. From here, we're going to move both hands over to the left side of our mat, and we're going to bring this right foot forward. Walk it to the center so that it's right below the right knee. And then from here, you can bring both hands to the knee, lifting up, coming into a low lunge. Let's lift our arms up overhead. And then we're going to take goalpost arms. We're bending the elbows at 90 degrees. And then we're lifting the arms back up, really pressing into that knee and this front heel. And then exhale, bring ourselves back down with the elbows into that goalpost arm position. Inhale as we lift. Feel ourselves growing a tiny bit taller. Exhaling as we take those goalpost arms. Once more, inhale, lift. And exhale, goalpost arms. This time, as we inhale and lift, we're going to take a twist of the upper body toward the right-hand side of the room and then just open the arms wide. Come back, inhale up. If the knee that is supporting you starts to get fussy, you can always pad it with a blanket or a towel. Let's take that twist again. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, twist. Final time, arms lift. And let's bring those hands back down. We're going to take that foot back again. Bring us back to that tabletop and come all the way back to that child. And just notice how the right leg feels now versus the left. Let's come back to our table. We're going to take it over to the other side. So hands come over toward that right side of your mat as you bring that left foot forward. Walk it toward a center position, so it's right beneath this left knee. You can use the hands on the knee to help you come up to your low lunge. You may want to go ahead and pad that right knee if you feel like you'll need it. Let's inhale, we'll lift the arms up, and exhale, take our goalposts. Inhale as we lift, feel the body move a little taller, and then exhale, elbows bend. We maybe lift the chin and the chest a bit. Inhale as we lift. Exhale, goalposts. Inhale. Last time with the goalpost arms. This time we're going to inhale. And we're going to take that twist toward the left this time, opening the arms out wide, really stretching through the whole arm. Inhale up. At any point you need to pad the knee, take a break and do that. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, twist. Last time, we inhale, arms up. We're going to lower the hands down to our mat. And we're going to bring that knee back beside the other knee. Come back to that child's pose once more. Check in with the body. You might bring the hands back to rest beside the feet now. Completely letting go here, relaxing. Releasing, no efforts, just surrender here. On an inhale, let's reach the hands forward, come back to table. Curl those toes again, lift the hips up to a down dog once more. And we're going to walk our hands back toward our feet. So we're coming to a forward fold by walking the hands back. And when you get there, just go ahead and take a little sway from side to side. Gentle sway. Making sure too to have a bend in the knees here. As much bend as feels good for your body today. And just notice how this sway feels in the backs of the legs. And then we'll come to stillness. And we're going to bend the knees pretty deeply. And if it helps, you can press with the hands to rise up to our mountain pose and lift the arms up overhead. Then let's slide the hands right down through center in prayer position. Take a moment here now that we're standing just to close the eyes, and we're going to take some seconds to observe the body. So notice if the feet are gripping. If they are, just lift the toes and then gently lower them back down. Notice if the shoulders are right above the pelvis, and if the shoulders are rolled forward, or if they're a little more open and rolled back, if the spine is tall. And just notice any other sensations that you feel within the physical body right now. Notice if the pelvis is neutral or tipped forward or back. Just bring it to a neutral position if you need to. Feel the heart beating and notice the breathing pattern. Next inhale, let's open the eyes. We're going to drop the hands down first and then raise them up overhead. Bring the palms right together. Stretch up tall through the spine, reaching up through the fingertips. And then we're going to take a side bend to the right. So we don't really want to press the hips out today. We're just going to focus on that side stretch on the left. I'll turn to face you. So side stretching to the left, and come back up to vertical, and then we're going to reach tall, pressing into the feet, reaching up through the spine. Side stretch over to the left. And then come back to center. This time, let's drop that right hand down. Take that same side stretch with only the left arm overhead. And then we'll come back to center, lower that arm. Inhaling as we lift that right arm up. And take that side bend over to the left. And then exhaling as we lower that right arm. Let's do that once more. Left arm comes up on an inhale. On an exhale, we take that side bend, feeling that stretch all the way down on the left side of the body. Exhaling as we lower that arm back down. Inhale, we lift the right arm. Exhale as we bend. Inhale back to vertical. And exhale, lower that arm. This time, let's bring both hands up. We're going to bring the hands together in prayer position again. Slide them right down through the center. And then continue that circle. Circling the arms, bringing the hands together, sliding them right down through the center. Nice opening in the shoulders here. As we're lifting the arms up, we're inhaling. And as we're sliding down through center, we're exhaling. Let's do one more of these. And this time we're going to let the hands stop right here at heart center. And then we're going to reverse this. So we're going to bring the elbows closer together as we reach the arms up and inhale. And then exhale as we lower the arms down. You might even bring the backs of the hands together or come right to prayer position. Whatever feels best for you here. Always exhaling as we're lowering those arms down. Inhaling as we're lifting up. Last one here, lowering the arms down. This time we're going to lift arms up. And just like we did goalposts earlier in that low lunge, we're just going to do goalposts in this mountain pose, lifting the chin and the chest. And then inhaling, arms come back up. Exhaling, lift chin and chest and bend the elbows. Inhale up. And exhale, take those goalpost arms. And this time we're going to take that twist. So we'll lift the arms up and then we'll take that twist to the right. Now be conscious of the hips here. Sometimes the hips want to open up. We want to keep our hips and our knees straight forward. Inhale, arms come up. We're going to take that twist over to the left. One way to keep the hips in place is to think of pressing that left hip forward a little bit here. Arms come up on the inhale, twisting to the right on the exhale, and we press that right hip forward just a bit. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift. And exhale, twist. Feeling your feet grounded, feeling your strength as you stretch the arms. And this next time that we lift the arms up, we're going to lower them down back to heart space. And then we're going to slowly push the bum back as we bow forward, hinging from the hips, and then start to bend the knees. Now you may come into a traditional chair. If you need to use the hands on the thighs to bring you down, you can. And we're just going to work our way down to the floor again. And when you get there, we're going to reach the legs right out in front of us, extending out through the heels, from the hips to the heels. So take notice of your spine. You want to try to sit as tall as possible. I don't have my prop here, but I often will use a towel, just a rolled hand towel or kitchen towel right beneath the tailbone in case you happen to be someone who, like me, kind of naturally rolls back. It can help you sit taller. So let's take this right knee and bring it in toward the chest and go ahead and interlace the fingers and just pull that shin toward you, and it helps you to sit a little taller so you can feel that sensation. And you're just going to hold there for just a moment, continuing to breathe in that steady, smooth pattern. And then we're going to release the clasp of the fingers, but hold on with that left hand as you reach the right arm up. And then we're just going to twist toward that right side and bring the fingertips down. Now, if you have a tendency to sit back, you want to press into the fingertips so you can sit tall. Or you might bring a book or a block behind you so that you have some support to help you sit taller. Some of us who have a little bit shorter arms may need this support to help us sit tall. So we're going to hold in this twist position for a moment. This should feel really comfortable. It shouldn't be a difficult or uncomfortable twist. If it is, for some reason, you can always bring that leg back down straight, and you can still get the twist in the spine without having the knee up toward the chest. Sometimes that works better. So to come out of that, we're going to lift that right arm up and bring it around. If the knee is still bent toward the chest, you just want to extend that right leg out. If you are bringing the knee in, go ahead and do that on the left side, clasping the fingers, wrapping around the shin, pulling that shin toward you so you can sit a little taller. And then from there, we're going to lift the left arm up over the shoulder, twist the torso toward the left-hand side, and bring the fingertips down. If you need that support beneath the hand, you can bring a book or a block there as a support beneath your hand to allow you to sit tall in the spine. And we just gently glance over that left shoulder, over in the direction of the left shoulder. So it's an easy twist, not a forced twist. Keeping that deep, steady, smooth breathing pattern. To come out, we'll lift that left arm up, bring it around. If you have the knee toward the chest, then go ahead and extend that leg out. And if you have a prop, go ahead and move that out of your way. And we're going to just lift the bum so we can come forward. And then we're going to come all the way back down to our mat again. Bringing the knees in toward the chest. Going to take that little rock from side to side once more, just like we did before. Little massage where we've been working those muscles in the low back and around the hips. And then bring the knees to stillness. On an inhale, we're going to extend the legs up toward the ceiling, extend the arms overhead. And on an exhale, bring the knees in, lower the arms back down. Inhale, extend and open the arms. And exhale, bring the knees in, lower the arms back down. Inhale as we extend arms and legs. Exhale as we contract everything back in toward the torso. Continue that movement with your breath. Okay, let's stay in that contracted position for just a moment. And then we're going to press the feet up toward the ceiling. So extending both legs together this time. Bring the hands on the outside of the thighs because we're going to flex the feet just a bit. And then we're just going to open the legs into a wide V. So you can feel that sensation of a big stretch in the groin. And then we're going to use the hands to help us bring the legs back together. And then open on the inhale. Feet move away, legs open into a V. Exhale as we close the legs back together. Inhale, opening. And exhale, closing. This last time, we're going to stay with the legs open, using the hands for support. If that's uncomfortable, you can always bring the legs back together again. Let's go ahead and do that now. Bring the legs back in. Go ahead and bring the knees back toward the chest. And then drop the feet down so that soles of the feet are resting on your mat again. We're just going to walk the feet away from one another toward the edges of the mat a little bit. And then we're going to rock the knees over toward the right-hand side. So you'll feel an external rotation in one hip and an internal rotation in the other. And then on an inhale, we bring the knees back up toward the ceiling, and then exhale, take them over to the other side. Inhale back to center. And exhale. Let the knees fall to the right. Inhale. Back to center. Exhale. Let the knees fall over toward the left. So this should feel nice in the hips and the low back. We're massaging the backs of the hips, that sacrum area, opening and internally rotating and externally rotating each of the hips. This is a really nice movement if you've had a lot of sitting during the day and you've got some tightness in the hips. This can be a really gentle way to release some of that tension. Just continue that movement as you breathe. Now, this next time that the knees are over on the right-hand side, we're just going to let them stay there for a moment and then reach that left arm up overhead. So again, we're just extending that opening all the way up through the shoulder and down into the leg. And the breath and the heartbeat are probably starting to slow a bit because we're bringing the energy down. Let's lower that left arm and bring the knees back through center and then let them gently fall over toward the left-hand side. Once the knees are settled, go ahead and lift that right hand up overhead, bringing that opening all the way into the upper body. You may even feel comfortable closing the eyes here so you can really focus on the physical sensation, allowing as much release as possible here. And then let's lower that right arm. We'll bring the knees back to center. I'm going to take that little hug of the knees in toward the body once more. Little rock from side to side. And then we're going to drop the soles of the feet down. And let's go ahead and extend the legs out. I'm going to let the heels rest a little wider than the hips. And we want to just allow the arms to rest at a comfortable distance from the body. So we're coming into our Shavasana here, our resting pose. This is the time when the body, mind, and spirit are able to integrate all these movements. And through this relaxation pose, we're really able to soak up the full benefits of our practice. And we are going to do a very brief yoga nidra here to help us completely relax as much as possible after a busy day. I'm going to begin that by bringing our attention to the right big toe, then the second toe, the third, the fourth, and the fifth toe. Scanning the sole of that right foot and then the top of the foot. Wrapping attention around the heel and the ankle. And then bringing attention up the shin and the calf to the right knee. And moving from the right knee up the back of the thigh, the front of the thigh, into the hip flexor in front, the side of the hip, the glute muscles in back. And now allowing that whole right leg to release and let go, softening the muscles, releasing any efforts there. Now we'll bring our attention to the left big toe, the second toe, the third, the fourth, and the fifth toe on that left foot. Scanning the top of the foot, and then the sole of the left foot. Wrapping attention around the heel and the ankle. And sliding our attention up the shin and the calf muscle to the left knee. And from the knee up the back of the thigh and the front of the thigh. Bringing attention to the hip flexor, the outer hip, and the glute muscle in back. Now letting that whole left leg fully let go. Feeling it maybe even sink a little deeper into your mat as all the muscles release in that left leg. Now we bring attention to the pelvis, releasing any tightness in the muscles of the pelvic floor, the low abdomen, the low back around the sacral area, the bowl of the pelvis between the hip bones, and across the low back, then into the area of the stomach, and the mid back, up around the ribs, coming into the upper back, wrapping around the chest, and then to the upper back and the shoulders. allowing a total release within all the muscles of the midsection of the body, the torso, feeling the density of that portion of the body where all of our major organ systems are located. Just feeling that portion of the body sink down into your mat. Then we'll bring attention to the right big thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, the pinky finger. Scanning the palm of that right hand and then the back of the hand. Noticing that gentle curve of the fingers and thumb when the hand is fully relaxed. Coming into the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm and shoulder of that right arm. And now the whole right arm is fully relaxed, completely letting go, releasing any efforts in the muscles of that right arm. And then bringing attention to the left thumb, the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Scanning the palm and back of the hand, coming into the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm and shoulder. And now allowing that left arm to completely release and relax, fully letting go. And drawing attention across the top of that left shoulder to the left side of the neck, into the back of the neck, the right side, the throat. And drawing attention from the throat up to the jawbone. And parting the lips and teeth just slightly so you can allow a little more release in the jaw. Bringing attention from the jawbone down to the tip of the chin. And then allowing the attention to come up to the muscles around the mouth and lips, releasing any tension there. Moving into the fleshy part of the cheeks, around the nostrils and the bridge of the nose, into the cheekbone area. And now allowing release around the eyes and the eye sockets, all those tiny muscles that help us to see every day, to move and blink the eyes. So around the eyelashes, the eyelids, all of those ocular muscles around the eyebrows, between the eyebrows, all the way out to the temples. And then we'll bring attention across the forehead, just allowing the forehead to smooth and relax and release. As we finally settle our attention right there between the eyebrows, also allowing release there. If there's any furrowing of the brow. Now our whole head, face, and neck and shoulders are relaxed and released, fully letting go. And now the whole body is completely at ease, completely letting go, totally at rest. We'll spend a few moments here in quiet. Your only job now is just to be and breathe. And I'll let you know when to come back to full awareness. Just be and breathe. go ahead and begin to deepen the breath a bit. Bring some awareness back into the body by wiggling the fingers, the toes. Maybe rocking the hips and the head gently from left to right. And then we're going to reach the arms overhead. Reach out through the palms, reach out through the heels, stretching the whole body here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then we'll lower the arms back down on either side of the body as we bend the knees, soles of the feet come to the mat. Keeping our eyes closed, we're going to roll over onto our right side and just pillow the head with your arm. Taking a breath cycle when you get there. And then using your hands to keep to press yourself up to seated. Again, keeping the eyes closed here. We're going to come into a cross-legged position or any other comfortable seated position if that's not comfortable for you. Whatever position you can sit in where your spine can be tall and you can feel at ease. I want to take these few moments here as we close just to notice how our state of mind and emotions may have shifted since we first came to practice. If there's been any shift there, just take note of that. And also notice this steady, calm, soothing, smooth breathing pattern that we've cultivated throughout the practice, that we've spent time and energy focusing on. That calming breath is always there, available to us whenever life begins to get out of sorts or we feel overwhelmed or anxious. Coming back to a steady, smooth breathing pattern. It's one of the quickest ways to help to regulate our emotions and our nervous system. Take a moment of gratitude for the strength and resilience of the body that just carried us through this practice and carries us through every day of our lives, helping us take care of ourselves and others, and those many things on our to-do list. Feel the strength of the spine, the resilience of your mind and spirit, as well as your body. Let's bring the hands together at prayer position at the heart. We're going to close with that chant of Om we started with. Again, it's a nice vagal toning exercise, as well as a reminder of that divine light in each of us. We'll take a full inhale here. Chant Om on the exhale. Let's bring our thumbs up to rest on our forehead. May we have peace in our thoughts. We'll bring our thumbs to rest at our lips. May we have peace in our words. And finally, thumbs resting back down at the heart space. May we have peace in our hearts. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. And a bow as I say Namaste. Thank you so much for being here to practice with me tonight. I really hope this practice has brought some peace and tranquility into your day, and that you will carry both of those into all the spaces that you enter. If you are heading off to bed, carry that peace and tranquility with you into the evening. If you're heading off into your day, carrying that peace and tranquility wherever you go today.